Welcome to today's lesson. You will need your notebook for notes and a pen or a pencil. Please gather those materials. So today's lesson is about unit rate and slope. However, in order to talk about unit rate with slope, we need to talk about what unit rate is. Unit rate is when you have a rate where the second quantity is 1. For example, if I had 90 miles in 3 hours, I could simplify this by writing it as 30 miles in 1 hour, but you got to label it, and that's the big part of unit rates, is they have to be labeled. It has to be left improper, and it has to be left with the 1 on bottom, and it's a unit rate because 1's on the bottom. If you have a different number on the bottom, then it's not a unit rate, it's just a rate. I would like for you to hit pause, copy down unit rate, and the answer must be simplified. Go ahead and hit pause and do that now. Alright, so Geoff can type 30 words in half a minute. How many words can he type in 1 minute? So the first half of the problem gives us our rate, 30 words in half a minute. Now, to solve this for a 1 minute, you would divide 30 by 1/2. That's not the same thing as dividing 30 by 2. So you would do 30 divided by 1/2, and you would get 60 words in 1 minute. Okay, so with unit rate with slope, let's look at this question. I've got a graph, and this is what you're going to look like, and you're going to have to find the unit rate of the lines. This question's asking which friend's plant grew the fastest. So, looking at this, it looks like friend 2 because it's the tallest one. That's not necessarily the fastest one. So you have to figure out the unit rate of each line. And here's a little clue. Another word for unit rate on a graph is slope. So we need to find the slope of each line. This one's tricky because this goes by 1s and this goes by 2s. So if I want to find the slope, first of all, let's look at friend 1. What happened to friend 1's graph or plant? It looks like it died. So what kind of slope is that again? It's a negative slope. So now remember, rise over run. I'm going from this point to this point. I'm going up 4, but I'm running 2 because the graphs don't have the same units. So that would reduce to -2 inches per week. Let's look at friend 2. I'm going to go from this point here. I'm going to go from this point here to this point here. Now remember, I'm going by 2s. 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I could have also gone to this point. 2, 1, 2. And so that reduces to 1 inch per week. And now let's look at friend 3. And friend 3 goes from here to here. So that's going to go up 4 and run 1, 2, 3. Now remember, 4 over 3 cannot work because you can't have 3 on the bottom. So you have to divide 4 by 3. And if you do that on a calculator, you're going to get 1.3 repeating. Change that back into a fraction, and that's going to give you 4/3 or 1 1/3 inches per week. So in that instance, who would have the greatest slope? Friend 3. So friend's 3 plant grew fastest. Okay, don't copy any of that down. Actually, the only thing I want you to copy down is this. All right, okay, let's look at another one. This graph shows the amount of milk used to make a particular cheddar cheese. How many ounces of cheese can you make per gallon of milk? So I'm looking for my slope. So I'm going to go from here to here. Now remember, these aren't the same units, so you got to be really careful. So I'm going up 32, and I'm going running 2. and that would reduce to 16 over 1. Now, 16 ounces of cheese I can make per 1 gallon of milk. Make sense? All right. The graph shows the amount of milk needed to make a quantity of butter. How many gallons of milk do you need per pound of butter? I want you to try this one on your own. Hit pause and do that. Okay, so from here to here, I'm rising 5, and I'm running 2. So divide 5 by 2, you're going to get 2.5. So 2.5 what? Gallons of milk to make 1 pound of butter. So, and I could also do 5 over 2 gallons of milk for 1 pound of butter. Now this one I'd like for you to copy down in your notes.